Hey everyone, Prime here from Chaotic Serenity, bringing you my Holy Paladin guide for the Healer Challenge in the Mage Tower. Really awesome challenge. It was really hard to complete. It took me about 18 tries. Sorry in advance, I don't actually have kill footage of the completion. It was really late at night and I went full retard and didn't start recording. But getting right into it, here are the talents that you might want to look at running. These are the absolutely recommended talents. You can complete the first half of it just using these. The really only mandatory ones are Repentance and Devo, and you'll see why later when I get into the footage for what those will be used for. If you do need more damage or burst healing on the group of targets you have to heal while inside, you can run Beacon of Virtue, and if you need more damage, you can change your talents on your first row. Not 100% mandatory though. I'd recommend just sticking with your talents. There is a point later in the encounter where you will be able to use a tome and change your talents around as needed. Just remember Repentance and Devo, they're the number ones that you're going to want to run. Actually completing this, I was about 902 to 903 eye level, somewhere around there. Averaging out about 44 to 45% crit. That was running the trinket that you can craft. You really don't want to run anything lower. You can get really screwed over at the very end if your holy shocks aren't critting every single time, which actually happened to me a bunch. Not really any mandatory legendary. If you do have the belt, it will help you out a lot and be able to push the damage and burst healing to get through it. But I'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to deal with every single set of ad, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So at the Mage Tower, you're going to want to talk to the lady at the front door. It costs you about 100 nether shards each time you want to complete it, so make sure you have about 3,000 banked up, just in case. Average is taking about 30 attempts for people to actually complete this. This is very expensive. You're going to want runes, flasks, food, mana pots, prolonged powers, like everything. It's going to take everything to get through this. So when you go inside, you'll see a bunch of waves of mobs come out. These will be their first set of waves you'll have to kill. Throw up your beacons on your other ones, on your targets you have to heal, and be ready to pop prolonged power prior to the RP ending. And then as soon as he charges in, I drop a concentrate just to preemptively start damaging, and I just start bursting down, doing as much damage as I can on this first archer. This is where Repentance starts to come into play, these stings. If you get hit by it, you're going to take a massive amount of damage and you'll pretty much lose all of your mana, and you won't be able to really have an opportunity to get it back until later. If you ever get hit, you want to instantly bubble to remove the dot from you. The other way to counter it is to have the arrow aimed at one of the other targets in there, because they don't have mana and you just have to power heal through it. So then we get to the second set of ads where you have the Arcanist and you have another archer that you have to deal with. As soon as the archer blinks away, you want to run over, cast Repentance on it, and then stun the mage so that he will lose his power and shrink back down and not end up one-shotting one of your other people. And then start DPSing, and the archer will pop back up. Just let this one either go through or Repentance. Either way works. It's not that hard to heal through. You just have to be watching for the health drop on the target and just top them up really quickly. And then you can slowly try to bring this next archer down until the next wave. As soon as the target dies in here, the next wave instantly becomes active. So just be prepared for it. Right? It comes really fast. If you have to wait, it's better off just to be slow and steady and don't push the damage. The other three people in your party will naturally bring the targets down on their own. So the next group that's going to come up is you're going to have another mage, and this time it's going to be a rogue. He's going to do the Fan of Knives, and the Fan of Knives is a really painful attack that can hurt you. I normally Repentance during the first one and then throw my stun out on the mage again, and then I pop Divine Protection to ease the damage on myself and just help DPS down the mage to get him down quickly. And then again, every time he casts Fan of Knives, then I'll cast Repentance on him to stop that incoming damage. The focus, when he does this focusing attack on you, it's really not that bad. It's pretty easy to heal through. As you can see, I've yet to pop any cooldowns yet in this entire encounter because you're gonna want them for the last 3 pack of mobs, or 2 sets of mobs, but there's 3 mobs in each. The next set will have a mage, and you'll have 2 rogues with it. So if both of them start casting their Phantom Knives at the same time, it is really hard to heal through. This is where I pop Wings and Holy Avenger at the same time, and I just start doing as much damage as I can. Throw a Repentance out on one of the rogues to stop the damage output, so I'm not having to constantly spam heal to keep the group up. Throw a stun out on the mage, help DPS down the mage as best as I can, while also maintaining the group being topped. It's more important to keep your group topped on HP than it is to help do damage here, okay? If you lose one person, I mean, I don't remember how many times I've actually lost a player because I was just focusing on just damaging too much and not topping someone up. You're not always the one that gets fixated. Sometimes the rogues will fixate one of the other players in your party, and they can easily drop them really quick if the Phantom Knives are going at the same time, and the mage is stacked up and they're casting Arcane Blast on you. So then get one of the other the rogues down, while also rotating through your repentances. You do want to be mindful of your repentance cast after you get the first one down. You're gonna want to let some of the Phantom Knives through because you want your repentance cooldown up for the next set of mobs, because the next set is going to have an archer, a rogue, and a mage, and you're gonna want to get those repentances out on the archer when he starts casting his sting. You don't want to be able to lose mana, and it just becomes too much of a hassle to heal through at that point. It's the hardest part in the encounter, and that's where we pop the remainder of my cooldowns. You can pop drums, etc, etc. Anything you've got left, really. When we get down to this last rogue, though, as you can see right now, I actually will pop a mana pot. I'll use my second divine protection, and then I'll just mana pot and start drinking while the rogue just starts beating on me. It won't actually kill you. It's just a great opportunity to do it. So then we go into the last pack. I'm going to use my artifact ability, I'm going to use Devo, I'm going to use Holy Avenger again, and then when Wings comes back up, I'm popping it immediately. If my bubble's up and I end up taking the hit, this is where I will cast my bubble again to get the dot off myself, and then just powerhouse through as best as I can. I actually went on this point in the fight, and it was a real struggle. I think I actually made a mistake in it, but it's easily doable even without mana. Just have to be very cautious. Okay, so we've gotten through the first part. It's probably one of the more challenging parts in here. So this is where you recoup all your mana. You're going to want to wait for your cooldowns to come back up. The only thing you really need active at this point is your wings. Okay, so your wings are very important going to the next part of the encounter. So as soon as wings comes back up and we get our pop back, then we'll engage back in and we'll move into the next zone of the room. Do not move into the next room until you're absolutely ready. It automatically will trigger the encounter, and it's not something that you want to deal with, especially without cooldowns. It's a very important part to use cooldowns. This is going into the gauntlet, so once you engage the encounter and the RP finishes, you have 5 minutes to complete the entire gauntlet. It's very time restrictive, and you need to be pushing as much damage as you possibly can. Another reason where belt comes into play, where it's really useful during your wings to be able to push out more damage. Like I said, you can also swap talents here if you need to be able to push out more damage. There's only one actual healing part that you actually have to heal through. but you'll be able to see that coming soon. So you start the RP, you put into a bubble, you're immune. You can still use your pre-pot while you're in this bubble, but you can't cast any spells. So I pre-pot once it gets to 1 second. I cast Tears of Deliverance, my artifact ability. I immediately pop all my cooldowns, and I start going ham on all these eyes. Every time an eye explodes, you take damage. If you stand in the AoE, you take damage. I get through about 3, and then I heal myself to full, and I take out 1 more, and then the last one. And then immediately following, I'm going to cast my charger, run into the next room, avoiding the eyeballs on the ground, and start taking out the bats. If you touch one of the little floating circles that look like little sparks, you will get slowed. It'll put a permanent dot on you that will eventually just kill you. The only way to get it off is to basically just bubble. It's really painful. Don't run into it. Make sure you hug that side of the wall when you run into this room. Kill off the bats, and then once the bats are done, stun on the big guy, and then just start burning them down as quickly as possible. The first ad that you're going to want to target is the ad that's running around like mad. As soon as the gate opens, you want to cast a dispel, cast 1 beacon on one of them, cast another beacon on the other heal target, and then start spam healing the middle one. Okay, and you just want to go absolutely insane on your healing and just try to top these guys off as fast as possible. If you fail to heal one to full within a certain time frame, unfortunately there's no timer, then one of them's going to turn evil, and he's just going to start attacking you. It is still killable in the time frame if you have to. It's not that big of a deal, but you need to be able to do everything else perfectly. So then you have this archer that comes up into play, and this is the last guy in this room that you have to deal with. Just burn him down, use your stuns, use your repentances, don't get hit by the sting. It's like phase 1 all over again, except way easy. Alright, so burn him down, and then get ready for the next gate. Alright, so the archer's down, and you're going to want to top yourself up here. Get ready on the gate, and then there's going to be the 2 sparks that are going to be on the left-hand side of the room. You're going to want to immediately judgment on one, holy shock on the other, and then kind of just carefully maneuver yourself through here, trying to get over that little hump. Run into the center of them. I end up actually messing it up, having a bubble, and then run into the next room. If you don't have to use your bubble there, then it's really useful in the next room. You're going to want to pop the remainder of your cooldowns, Devo, Wings, and then kill the 3 eyes that are up. Okay, as soon as the eyes go down, you're going to want to cast a stun on the caster that's in the middle of the room. Stun him, burn him down, and the timer will end, and you will have successfully completed the gauntlet. Alright, so all our cooldowns are back up. We're going to open the gate, and then we'll immediately start the RP going into the next part of the challenge. Okay, so as soon as you get the pop-ups and you see your 3 other companions pop up on the screen, you're going to immediately want to put 2 of the beacons up. It's all preference based on what you determine that you want to put them on. You're going to want to use double beacon. Beacon of Virtue, just having to use the extra global here, it's too much of a challenge. So you go through some RP, your other people in your party will become evil, and they'll start attacking each other. Okay, this is the hard part. The end boss will eventually walk to the center of the room, and he'll start summoning ads to come out and start flowing towards him, 3 at a time. You need to be able to top these ads off to break his spell while also maintaining as much HP on the 3 people in your party at the same time. That's why I say crit is very important. Each of these mobs have like 3 million plus health on them, and your people in your party are actually getting tanked. So just kind of spam heal them, get them as high as you can. This is the first set of them. I pop wings and Devo, and I just start healing them like crazy, topping them off. Okay, get the first 3 down, and then immediately go back to healing the other people in your party. Okay, you need a total of 8 and waves of 3. Okay, the next set will come out. I'll use my artifact ability, I'll use Holy Avenger, and I'll spam heal them again. This is also a good point where you want to heal 2 of them and then use your lay on hands on the 3rd. This will give you a total of 6. So then all you have to do now is just top off 2 more. If any of the adds actually make it to the middle, it's not too big of a deal. You don't want more than 3 though. Any more than 3 and you're not really gonna be able to handle the situation. As you can see, this is kind of where I messed up in my point of the video. Going into a little bit of detail, like what happens, like you heal the 8 adds to full, and then he'll summon an army of people. Any of the adds that came in afterwards, you will have to deal with in the next phase. So he'll summon his army, and then you'll fight him. It's basically like phase 1 all over again, dealing with the adds. So you kill them off, and then you start on the last phase. Now, in the last phase, it's just you, your companions, and the last boss, okay? He might aggro onto you initially, so just be prepared. He does hit very hard. Your companion should eventually pick aggro up on him, and then it'll all work out. So what's going to happen is he's going to every so often leap on you, leaving green fire on the ground. Okay, this green fire does damage to you but does not hurt your companions. Okay, eventually you will run out of space on the ground in the room. Okay, so you want to start on one edge of the room at the very edge as soon as the encounter starts, and he will leap on top of you and place green fire. Move to the edge of the next one, and then he will place a debuff on you. This debuff works a lot like Nightbane and Karzan, where it explodes for the amount of HP that you currently have. So you need to watch your HP and not go over 50%. A good target marker is about 40% HP, 40 to 50% HP. That way when it explodes, it damages your players that are in your party, but it won't actually kill them. You can use the fire on the ground to drop your HP, but you don't go too low. If you go too low, he will immediately jump on you again and damage you. So that's why we say 40%, because it explodes, and then he'll jump on you again. You'll drop down to about 10 to 20% HP. You'll top yourself off a little bit. You'll get another debuff, check your HP, keep him alive, and work around the room. You don't have to do much damage in this phase at all. Your party members will pretty much take care of all of it for you. Just well-placed fires and debuff management is all that's required in the last part. You do it all correctly, and he will die, and then you'll get a sweet artifact spin. So I hope this guy was helpful. And again, I'm sorry I don't have the footage for the very last part of the fight. Like I said, I wasn't recording like an idiot. If this did help you out, toss me out a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.